Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Beacon of Light podcast tonight. My name is April Tribe-Juke, and we are here tonight with Miss Lorie Gurnett. Super excited about all of the great things we're going to talk to you about tonight. If you can see the ticker running down below, you will see that her book, Treasure Kingdom, is an award-winning global book, amazing global award winner. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But really, tonight's podcast is all about how that we can understand how fiction can emphasize so much in our lives. Yesterday, we had another fiction author on who also was a global award winner. We're just picking the winners this month, the whole month of November, because we want everyone to understand their blessings, be thankful, be grateful, and count them out there. As a Beacon of Light podcast goes out and keeps amplifying light as it stretches forward, we want you to feel that understanding, be touched, and know that these authors, they do put their blood, sweat, and tears inside the book and the story because it is there for an impact for other people. We don't write books for ourselves. I mean, that'd be kind of weird. I'm going to write myself a book and just sit there and read it. We share for the world. So, Lorie, I'm down here in Kyle, Texas, broadcasting tonight. Lorie, where are you broadcasting from tonight?
I'm broadcasting from Wetaskiwin, Alberta. It's about 45 minutes from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Excellent. So great. A lot of things to spell there, so a little pause while I'm getting all the ASL spelled out there. So thank you, A, for coming on in, A. We got to do a little tease.
Oh,
welcome. It's so exciting to have you here. And we're seeing some people popping up. So if you are here, please share where you're from. Type it in loud and proud. We want to share what you're doing, what we're doing, and really amplify Miss Lorie Gurnett, because this global award-winning book, Treasure Kingdom, is all about just something that's going to blow your mind. With fiction, we really can get lost within the book, within the character, within the ideas, within so many great things that happen. That's why we read. That's why we go there to escape, to enjoy. But I think subconsciously we also go there to learn. Or as the result of this reading, we learn things, right? The moral of the stories, the impacts, who our villains are in our world, who the heroes are. It just depends on the journey. So, Lorie, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you wrote this book.
Okay, so I am a wife of a firefighter, actually, and he's been a firefighter for probably over 10 years. And so he has struggles with PTSD and anxiety and depression. And so some of those feelings and emotions went into the book when I was creating it. I originally wrote the book for my kids. I was writing a chapter a night and reading it to them. And it was actually my daughter who encouraged me to finish the book because she was enjoying it so much. She was like, "Mom, you need to finish this book. I need to know what happens." So I knew it was good at the time. And then I had completed it about 4 years ago. And then it just sat on my computer, didn't do anything with it. And then through a different author who I'd been friends with for like 20 years, she had joined Author Academy Elite. And she introduced me to Author Academy Elite. And so I applied just to see, didn't thinking that they would even consider me. And they did, and went through the interview process. And I was like, well, it's already written. But then I started going through their steps. And the moment I sent it in for Nanette to look at the proposal, a lot of things adjusted and changed. And through that editing process in 2018, I experienced 9 deaths that were very close to me. And through those 9 deaths, I got to see the trauma, the grief, the identity soul searching that my kids went through. And they still struggle today with different things of the losses. 2 of the major deaths were my dad, and then 3 months before that, my father-in-law. So people very close to us. And so we had a very hard time dealing with that process and the pain that they were dealing with. And so that transformed the beginning of the book. And so it's now that, like, the beginning of the book is all about two teenage siblings struggling with the tragic death of their oldest brother. So they're struggling with suicidal thoughts, their identity, their purpose, and their value. And I really go into detail about the thoughts, the questions that they search, the soul seeking that they went through. And the main purpose for that was to kind of put into words what my kids were dealing with, and to let them know that there is healing there, and that they do have value and purpose. And then in the fantasy realm, they got pulled into Treasure Kingdom. And so when they got into Treasure Kingdom, they had to go on a journey to find each other. And while on that journey, they had to face different fears from their past, things that they were struggling with, identity, purposes, and discovering who God created them to be. And when they meet up, they have to combine what they learned to save a princess, a kingdom, and discover what the greatest treasure is. And so it's a story of growth. It's a story of triumph. And that's kind of why I came up with the saying that you are stronger than you think, loved more than you know, and you are never alone. And the one thing that I always say throughout the book is never give up. You just keep moving forward and never give up, and you'll be surprised where you'll end up.
Wow. Great words, especially in a year saved for 2020, to never quit, never give up. You're not alone. A lot of changes have happened. So we all have been through different kinds of experiences as an entire world. Wow. And to have a book that can help lead us through, that allows us to kind of drop into fantasy, not of this world, but yet help us through the characters and their experiences, maybe help to express our own emotions. So I think that is really, really comforting to know. As a writer, you took experiences that you were witnessing through your own children and add them into, because what makes story? It's connection. The connection to our humanity, the connection to the emotion, the connection to almost everything. We love to hate a really, really terrible villain. We love to praise the hero. We love to see the character mold and shape and grow, because we can see that reflected, even if it is subconsciously, within ourselves. So I work with a lot of parents and teachers and with a lot of kids that have special needs. And I love books, especially fiction books, for this main purpose, because the character can take a lot of blame, right? We can really, really analyze that character, and it's not going to hurt its feelings because it's in the paper, and that's just fine. And it's there, and we can all go back and read it again. So that really helps us to kind of understand some social nuances that happen, social understanding. I mean, a lot of things can be taken to place that you can really examine in what I call that safe place. So if you apply that, with any kind of special needs child, it's like, oh, I can totally see that. And we apply it kind of naturally as we're reading it as well. It might not feel as structured or set up, but when we go through those experiences, that the character gives us little peeks, and maybe the narrator pops in and says, hey, yo, this is going to be happening next. It really lends ourselves to just turn that page, read more, turn the page, and read even more. So fantastic. Lorie, you mentioned a lot of great and in-depth and tough stuff. Suicidal thoughts, loss of so many people who have died, who are really close to you, how you bear with that grief, and how you understand, how can you truly go on? You mentioned, just like it's running down here on the ticker, you're stronger than you think, loved more than you know, and you are never alone. I'm curious, does someone in the book actually say that to one of your characters?
Actually, no. I actually started writing that after the book was published. And so when I sign a book, that's usually what I put in there for my readers, just to remind them that they are seen. They're not invisible, they're loved, and they do have value and purpose. And I figured that was the strongest message to touch all of those things.
Beautifully said. So share with us the main character. What's going on with the two siblings, and how does this whole world fall into fantasy? Like, what happens? As much as
Okay,
you want to share.
right. Well, basically, Josiah and Sonora are the main characters, and they're teenagers. And I've mentioned that before. And so basically, she's the one who's really struggling with her identity, suicidal thoughts. She actually considers it at one point at the beginning of the book, and she just feels utterly lost. Whereas Josiah, he's taken on the role of being the strong one in the family. He has to be strong for everybody else. He has to have it all together all the time. And so he has to be the one everybody should go to. And he doesn't allow himself to grieve because he has to be strong for everybody. And it's actually their father he's like a business person, so he travels a lot for work. And so at the beginning of the story, he is not around. Like, he's always gone. And so Sonora especially is really struggling with this because she's close to her dad. But he's always traveling now. Since their oldest brother died, he just doesn't want to be home. And so he's kind of gotten to alcoholism a little bit. I don't touch on it too much, but a little bit there. And so he actually sends them a gift, which is a book. And this book is called Treasure Kingdom. And so they end up, like, Sonora's mom asked Josiah to get her out of the house, to kind of get her away from the home, to distract her, and because she's concerned about her. So they go to a diner, and in the process of being at the diner, they have a massive fight. And so she leaves with this book, and as the book opens, this necklace falls out, and so she puts this eagle necklace on her neck, and she gets so angry that she rips it off, and she throws the book and the necklace at a tree, and then there's a big flash of light, and she disappears. And so eventually Josiah goes looking for her, and he can't find her, and he sees the book open and basically sees a picture of his sister, and it says that she's been captured or she's in trouble. And then he, like, closes his eyes, and then he opens his eyes, and he's in like a ruined city. And so basically they're in two different locations in the same fantasy world. And so they meet up with two different people who are kind of their almost like a spiritual guide to them, that directs them to where they should meet. And as they go on the journey, they're so shocked with the different locations that they have to go through. I know there's one where Sonora is in a field of fog, and she is forced to face the death of her oldest brother. She's forced to face interactions with her father, and she is so bombarded by all these emotions and feelings that she just falls on her knees, and she hears how loved she is. She hears how valued she is, and she's like questioning it. She challenges it, and through that whole scene, she learns to forgive, and she learns to discover how strong she really is. And like another scene for Josiah, like, he has to go through this labyrinth, this maze, and he is forced to make the hard choices of one way or another, and one leads to death and one leads to life, and he has to figure out the right path to take to get to the other side so he can find his sister. And so throughout the whole story, there's a red dragon that they have to follow. Well, Sonora follows, and there's different mysterious things about this dragon that they kind of find out a little bit more towards the end of the story, and it's full of adventure and self-discovery as they go along that journey.
Wow. What a fantastic place to put such challenging things. And I find it interesting that you separated the characters and yet allowed them experiences that possibly when they meet back up, like, no way, me too. Are you serious? Me? Like, that's going to be kind of interesting. So, how many of you need Christmas gifts out there? I mean, we're talking, this seems like a really great opportunity for everybody. And, a Global Award winner. I think you have something maybe over there or behind you. Like,
Yes,
I think I can see something shiny and new, and wow, check it out. How exciting. So great award. And from winning this, what happened after that night when you received the award? I mean, at least the meaning of it. And then in the mail came the award, right? Because everything was virtual. But what did that mean for you, and what's happened since?
Well, I'm still receiving some stuff, but I got a press release that I've been sending out to different people. And so just yesterday, I got interviewed on a radio station in British Columbia that aired yesterday. So they did a beautiful article on me, and it, like, lots of information on my message and everything about my connection with the Elk Valley in the Sparwood and Cranbrook area. And I also, there's 2 newspapers that are doing an article on me. Actually, 3. There's 3 newspapers doing an article on me. 1 in BC and 2 in Wetaskiwin, Alberta are doing articles on me that should be coming out on Wednesday. And I've reached out to a couple different media outlets in Edmonton as well.
Wow, fantastic. It's great to be seeing this exposure going out. And we see some hearts here tonight. We see some more people. Come on, jump on here. Let's see where you're from, who's watching us live. Lorie's amazing message really can touch so many. And it seems like with how you've been explaining this, I would guess I know who your audience is, your main readership is, but why don't you share with everybody else? And I'll see if my guess is right.
Well, originally I wrote it for teens, but actually my main audience has been 18 to 45-year-olds. And most of them have struggled with trauma from their past, or they struggle with their own identity. And I've had a couple of readers reach out to me and tell me that their book, or my book, has really helped them and has really refocused them and got them thinking about a lot of things. And
wow, amazing. The opportunity to receive a letter like that from a fan, how does that feel?
Oh, it was amazing. That's the whole reason for writing it. When I was writing it, I was like, if I can impact at least one person and allow them to see that they are valued and that they are loved, then it's all worth it.
It is all worth it. It becomes like a partnership, this friend reaching from the page to let somebody else know they are worth it. We all are worth it. And why are we all worth it, Lorie?
Sorry, what was that?
Why are we all worth it?
You are all worth it because we are all created in Christ's image. And everybody on this earth has been born for a reason. Everybody has a story to live, and nobody should cut that story short.
Right. I love that. No one should cut the story short. There is so much to live for. And together, we really can get through a lot of things because, again, like the ticker says, you're never alone. And that is absolutely true. And it's tough sometimes when you've reached out and you feel alone, or you might not understand who's been trying to contact you, right? Who's been trying to give you some information, some love. Sometimes it's that stranger that finally connects with us and we say, there's no way they would have known that. I didn't tell anyone about that. How did they know what to say? And that is the tender mercies that come from God. Amazing. That impact can really, really touch so many of us. So with this this readership that you've got between 18 to 45, it seems like, now you've got the award. We want people to be purchasing, selling, getting this book because for themselves, I mean, why not have a beautiful place to escape to? Why not enjoy such a fun adventure? I mean, a dragon, come on, y'all, this is going to be great. And just seeing how we can take the reality of our life. I mean, how many of you have ever had a fight with your siblings? Okay, put your hands down, Okay, yeah. Right? It's life. Things happen. And I know afterwards the regret usually comes about. So I'm really glad that Josiah decided to, I guess I better go look for her.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in that, there was like a second part of discovery that I'm sure he was really shocked about. So where do your ideas come from for your book?
Well, my ideas, I have a very vivid imagination, first of all. A lot of my ideas did come from the deaths and the grief that we faced in 2018. And I'm a huge fan of Narnia. I love the Narnia series. It's one of my favorites. And so some of my concepts came from that idea. And it's kind of funny. I've now had 2 people tell me that my book is very similar to Pilgrim's Progress. My husband, when I was writing it, said it sounded like Pilgrim's Progress meets Narnia. And I have never personally read Pilgrim's Progress, but I've had people say that it's very similar to that. And so, yeah, just the concepts of that and knowing what I've gone through in my life. Both my husband, like I almost lost my husband in my 7th year of marriage to suicide. I've struggled with suicide before, and I just know most of my childhood I felt invisible, I felt unworthy, and definitely unloved. And I want to be able to tell others that there is hope and that I understand. So if anyone ever wants to reach out to me, I'll be there for you 100%.
Wow. That is quite an extension to offer someone, because you are stronger than you think. You are loved more than you know, and you are never alone. And she's just offering an opportunity there. And if you listen to those words, she understands the struggle. The struggle is real. And unfortunately, suicide, those thoughts, the concept of feeling so small and invisible that it wouldn't matter if you were here or not here, they become really overpowering. And so I would be interested to read how your main character struggles with that fact, because I think, emotionally it connects to, unfortunately, so many that have had those kinds of thoughts. But it seems like in the end, she makes it through. At least that's my guess, right? And we don't want to give away any more of the story, but I do have to ask: will there be a second book, or is this a standalone book, and you'll be writing different things? Tell us some of your ideas of the future, Miss Lorie.
Okay, I'm actually done writing the second book. It is in the hands of my editor. I'm hoping to publish it as of the end of February next year. And this one is a continuation of Treasure Kingdom. It's going to be called Unbroken Kingdom, and it's part of the Kingdom series. So, in the second book, the main character, he comes from an abusive home, and so he struggles with anger, and he struggles with fears and forgiveness. And so the main concept of the second book is finding your courage as you face your fears and learning to forgive those who have hurt you and to find your strength in that. And of course, never to give up, because that's just a continuing lesson throughout the whole series, is just to keep going, keep moving forward, and to never give up. I also created a 40-day program that goes with Treasure Kingdom, and it's all on identity. It's a fight program, so focus, identify, grow, honor, and triumph. And it leads you through the process of being stuck in not knowing who you are, feeling invisible, feeling lost, to discovering who God is, discovering who you are, and realizing your inner strength and rising to your potential is basically the whole arching of that program.
Wow. That seems like, how do we say this? It's more than just, oh, great job. That is something that completely can change lives and empower. And so with that program, who is the focus for that?
The focus is basically for anyone who's struggling with who they are, anyone who is feeling stuck and feeling lost, feeling invisible, and just to direct them to a purpose and to discover their inner strengths and discover that they do have value to give to other people as well.
Wow. Giving that value to other people and amplifying their light out is something that I'm all about. So I really, really appreciate that. And I know this, setting up for the second book and talking about abuse and abusive homes, it's a challenge, right? Because that's tough stuff. But when we open up conversations like that, whether it's in a fictional setting or in reality setting, it helps us to face this, to face it, to ask the conversation, to ask the hard questions, to have the hard conversation, so that we can possibly, change lives in that way as well. So it looks like you are connected with a lot of great opportunities for change. The concept of understanding who we are, the opportunity then to know that and then go out and serve others, that is powerful. That is humanity. That is connecting all together. And that's done all through a story. So Lorie, congratulations. Hold that up there and hold your book up there. Let's see these things again. Everyone hurry, take your screenshots. Here it comes, right? So we've got Lorie as this global award winner, and Treasure Kingdom, it's that first step. You heard it from her tonight, a little sneak peek of the second book, and I'm assuming there'll be a third. They usually run in trilogy.
Yep.
Well, fantastic, and congratulations.
Thank
I
you.
hope that this momentum carries you forward, carries your message forward. So go there. You can see on her website. Thank you. Oh, look, we've got another Lorie. Lorie says, congratulations to Lorie. Thank you so much. And please, support, get these things. Black Friday sales are coming up. Where can we purchase your book, Lorie?
It is available on Amazon and basically any of the online outlets that sell books. I know it's available on the Indigo site in Canada, and I do believe it's available on the Walmart in the States, not in Canada, but in the States it's available. And I think Barnes & Noble has it on their website as well.
Wow, wonderful. And if they wanted to get a signed copy from you, what would they need to do?
They can send me a message, and I can definitely sign a copy and get their address and send it to them, as long as it's not too far to mail.
Right. So all you Canadians up there, definitely take advantage of this. Maybe those in the States, it won't be too far. I'm not sure about Australia. That's pretty far from Canada, but
yeah,
who knows? Grab it from Amazon, and maybe she'll sign a bookmark and send that to you. But yeah, really, the concept and ideas that Lorie has can be life-changing, and so we really encourage you to go out, support your authors, and share these stories and let them spread. How many of you would love to see something new and fresh, coming out in movies. And well, that only happens is if we help support these authors with these great ideas and these great books, because somebody's going to pick that up and go, this is the next big hit. And we want to see that not only just for Lorie's sake, but for all of us. We all have read books, seen movies, been touched, and that impact can really mean something completely positive, change the world for so many. So go out there and support them, get into these stories and see what can happen for you. Lorie, we've got just a few minutes left. What is the last thing you'd like to share with our audience tonight?
Basically just to never give up. I believe in you, and I know that you have a message inside of you. And if you ever need help with it, I'm definitely here. I'm just a message away, and I would be willing to help you pull some of those messages out of your heart so that you can reach those who need to hear your story as well. And there is always hope. So even in the darkest of times, one thing that brought me out of my darkness was no matter how dark things are, there's a flicker of light somewhere. If you can find that flicker of light, hold on to it, and it will soon grow. And just hold on to that joy and that hope, because that will keep you focused and keep you looking in the right direction.
Amen, sister. I found one of those and I call it a pinpoint of light. And wow, did it ever stretch into a whole beacon of light. Thank you, Lorie. Beautifully said. Everyone go out there, support her, grab that book, Treasure Kingdom, hold it up again so we can see the blue cover. We get that visual in our mind. Get out there. Great book for Christmas, everybody. Thanks for coming tonight, and we'll see you.
Wonderful.